Make sure you're keeping things fresh this Christmas with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package.
What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins, West Ham Fan TV. I was just in the garden filming the morning after the game before, and I thought I'd come and chat to you guys because it looks like Man United are finally pulled the trigger on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And although it's not strictly West Ham news, it's big news in the Premier League, of course. I don't know why these days, but I was just wondering whether that could curtail the deal for Jesse Lingard. Now, Jesse Lingard has been making all sorts of noise over the weekend, giving sort of various clues as to whether he could be joining West Ham in January. And after yesterday's defeat, it's quite evident that we need a little bit of flair in that department, in the chance creation department. We was very poor yesterday, and although it's not completely damning, it certainly puts a dent in our hopes of this season. But Ole Solskjaer took Manchester United yesterday to Watford, and they got beat 4-1. It's quite a humiliating defeat for them. Something that their fans just, they just won't accept. He's been under pressure for a while. 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, then get beat by City, and then humiliation down at Watford. It's always going to end up one way. There have always been fan pressures building, of course. First of all, I'll give you a good morning, everybody. First of all, I'll give you a little breakdown of my thoughts about the news today. I hoped he would stay till January, to be honest, selfishly, because he obviously doesn't fancy Lingard. But Manchester United, although they're the biggest club commercially in the world, they're not the pull or the force that they used to be under Ferguson. Now, there's been various managers after Ferguson that have came and failed. One that sticks in my mind, obviously, is David Moyes, who directly followed Ferguson. And I think Manchester United fans need to be a little bit more realistic in their expectations, although I do think Ole Solskjaer was punching above his weight with them. But you always hear things from them sort of like, oh, he's not a Manchester United manager and all that. Well, managers need time to embed themselves, and David Moyes certainly wasn't given time, and they want these big names and everything else, but they're chasing a dream with Ferguson. I think I don't think you'll ever find a manager like Ferguson, unfortunately for them. But that's it. Neither here nor there to us. Let me just have a quick sip of my tea. That's either here nor there for us. It's their problem to deal with. But it gave us a little bit of hope. We got Jesse on loan, of course, last year. Did very, very well for us. He become a fan favourite quickly. We saw the talent he possesses at the London Stadium. Unfortunately, this season, he scored the winner in the 90th minute. There's a few words saying that it could be Carrick taking over. It could be Darren Fletcher. Only time will tell. That's, as I said, but that's their problem. All I'm worried about is Jesse Lingard. Will this sacking affect it? It could. It all depends on who comes in. Now, Manchester United are going to be looking at a very high caliber of manager, because that's what their fan base is trying to demand now. Will they get one? Only time will tell. But they're going to be looking at a top manager. There's rumours about Pochettino and a couple of other rumour mills flying around. Pochettino obviously got the best of Dele Alli, and nobody else has been able to, so it could be sort of something that Jesse Lingard stays with. But what's going to be on the back of Jesse Lingard's mind at the moment will be Zidane is another one. Thank you, Clegg. What's going to be on the back of Jesse Lingard's mind is England, I think, and the World Cup. It's going to be his last chance, realistically, to play in a World Cup with England. He played in the last World Cup. He did very well, but missing out on the Euros is always going to be in the back of his mind. Obviously, there was the feel-good factor about Ronaldo and all of this sort of thing. around the club. So and Varane and players like that coming in, he obviously thought he's going to give it one more crack at his United career. But it's one of them things where the new manager, I think there's too much talent now to try and get back into the side over Jesse Lingard. That's my opinion. I might be completely wrong. A new manager could come in, he could absolutely be a massive fan of Jesse Lingard, but there's going to be players that have paid big money for in the past, and people like Van der Beek, who ironically Ollie Solskjaer, he couldn't get a game for Ollie Solskjaer, and it ended up he started yesterday and scored the last goal of his reign, which was quite ironic. But there's also going to be people like Sancho's they're going to want to see the best out of, pay big money for him in the summer. Even going back to players like Anthony Martial, who finds himself out the side. They've got players like Rashford and Greenwood and Ronaldo to fit into these positions. And I still don't think there'll be a place for Jesse Lingard. Unfortunately for Jesse, because I know he's a Man United boy, and selfishly we all look at it from a West Ham perspective because we know how much he can bring to the West Ham side and a dynamism, and he gets on very well with David Moyes. But there's a lot of players in his position that the elite at Manchester United are going to want him to get the best out of. They're probably going to want to get the best out of Jadon Sancho, seeing as they paid so much money for him. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Greenwood, players like that are going to be, I believe, still in front of Jesse Lingard. So that part of it with the Solskjaer thing, I'll take some comments in a minute, guys. So if you want to leave your comments in there, I'm going to be putting them up on the screen. That aspect of it, I'm not worried about. There was a thing come out yesterday that Conte believes that Conte's obviously Spurs manager, believes that they're in the pole position to sign Jesse Lingard. So obviously we've seen the noises that Jesse Lingard has made with West Ham. There's always that thing in the back of your mind that thinks, is he just letting everyone know he's available to try and get himself another move? Bit like Jedson Fernandez. So, there's always that sort of thing on the back of your mind. But I think he enjoyed his time at West Ham. I think he obviously did. He's probably some of the best football he's played in his career. He knows a lot of the boys in the changing room. He seems to have made a desire, made known a desire to come back to West Ham. I think what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that on that 1st of January that we're knocking on their door and saying, right, come on, let's sort something out, because £10 million is a steal, and it brings that price down to a lot of affordability for, let's be honest, all Premier League clubs. All Premier League clubs could afford Jesse Lingard if the rumoured price is £10 million. Will the new manager use him? I think there's players in front of him, unfortunately, with Rashford coming back as well. Did he start yesterday? I heard he started yesterday. I haven't really looked at the game and who was playing and starting lineup and whatever. But yeah, I don't think it affected too much. If he wants to come back to West Ham, I think the door's still open to him. It's the club that make this decision ultimately. The manager could take a month. If this was in December, end of December, I'd be a bit worried, because a manager normally wants to come in and take a look at players and see, who's in his plans. And it normally takes about a month or so. So that could have took you on past the January transfer window just to have a look at what he's got. But being now, I think that there'll be a decision made. But we can't hang about. We've got a tendency. Sorry, another sip of my tea. A tendency of leaving these things to linger, trying to get the best deal. You're not going to get a better deal for Jesse Lingard than £10 million. So 1st of January, get in there, get him to sign the contract, get him down to London, get him back playing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, even after yesterday's defeat, that next week, come January, by the end of next month, we'll still be in a similar position or within touching distance of where we are now, and we can kick on and see what we can do and make this a special season. As I say, flat game yesterday. but I'll tell you all about that in the morning after the game before. Thank you very much, guys. Let me take some comments just quickly. There's only a few here, so it won't take too long. Good morning, Nick, says Matt Ramsey. Good morning, mate. Andy Miles says good morning as well. Leslie Little just says maybe time will tell. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Lisa Langley says they still have great players. Would he get in front of any of them to play the majority of games and minutes? Still think he should come to West Ham if he wants to get in the England squad and play football. Andy Miles says Carrick's taking charge. At the moment, it could be him to the end of the season, I've heard. Zidane will be the next man, says Clec Torres. Matt Rainey says, to be honest, I wanted to keep him, Ollie, just to keep their back results going because of Rio. Said Ollie is at the wheel. In my opinion, this is Jesse's last chance to get a proper team that will play him. Lingard already rejected the Man United offered, apparently. Yeah, but a new manager could change that, mate. That's what this video is all about. You reckon Newcastle will be sniffing around Lingard? Yeah, Newcastle will be sniffing around Lingard. The position Newcastle are in at the minute is pretty dire. They're bottom of the league, ain't won a game all season. They could be too far away for players like Lingard to consider them, seeing as they could go down, and he's definitely not going to want to do that with a World Cup coming up. Gutted for Holiday, best manager in their history, says Andy Walsh. Zidane already said no, he's waiting for France and can't speak English, but he probably could be persuaded. I've heard he's taking English lessons. Read into that what you will. Man United have paid big money for average players, says Andy Walsh. They only bought Ronaldo, so Man City couldn't. Football CB, welcome Carrick the kit man. I'm assuming that Carrick is. I know I said that they was talking about Darren Fletcher, but I'm assuming if people keep on talking about Carrick, that Carrick has been confirmed. Good luck to Michael Carrick. He's obviously a ex-West Ham boy. Conor Gallagher, Chelsea loanee at Palace, very good player, very very good player. I think Lingard will still come. Why would he post in a West Ham shirt? Lingard came on in the 90th minute. What an insult to him, considering the position of the game versus Watford. Yeah. I can't see Jesse change his mind about joining us with Ollie sacking. Dead cert, he'll be a hammer, in my opinion. Billy Gilmore with Declan Rice in midfield, says Nas Kishra. Donny van der Beek will get more of a chance, possibly now. Man United agree Lingard will still be behind others at the club. So there you go. It's you all think that it's pretty dead cert, but only time will tell. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll leave that there. It's just a quick impromptu video. As I say, I'm doing the morning after the game before in the garden, and I thought I'd just give a quick little insight or whatever on whether this could change the Lingard deal, but hopefully it doesn't. Let me just take a couple more comments before I go. Lingard is nailed on for West Ham. I get a feeling cheap transfer was the plan all day long. Anyway, cheers, Nicky. Thank you, mate. But we'll leave it there. Catch the morning after the game before. All the fan cams from yesterday's defeat at Wolves are up now, so you can go and check them out. Link is in the description down below. Thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. 20% off with the code this way. WHFTV. Go and get one of them for Christmas. They're very good. I'm just about to go and use mine as it happens to trim myself up and trim me jingle bollocks. But thank you very much. One thing left to say: come on, you irons.